Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case. Dahil mihi Anglican Parade Service Latino.
That's literally not true.
Oh, for Trump's sake.
Is that correct?
Yes, it's true. We are approaching $1.5 million in interest. For those that are curious about the counter, it is running, still ticking, still going. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. That is correct. All right. Welcome. Let's go back here. Here we go. Alrighty. Let's see. Where are we at? We're waiting for court in Thurston, Washington to begin because as late as it is in the day. Yes, we need someone with much more experience. As late as it is in the day, they're just getting through lunch right now. So let's see. Wait, what's this? Whoa! Holy cow! Okay. Good. Wait. I'm just reading things. Home. Nope. Search. Oh, there we go. Thurston County.
Somebody just sent me a video of roaches fighting.
I don't know who won. Okay, there we go. All right. Got everything set up. It's 10:30 p.m. in Sweden, says Angela. Shara's just gifted 5 and then 5 more memberships. Congratulations to the winners. Thank you very much. That is super generous of you. And 10 people now are able to chat to their heart's content without slow mode affecting them because of you. So if you find that you're no longer able to fit a word edgewise in chat. Thank Chairs for that. No, just kidding. Thank you, Chairs. Appreciate you very, very much. Kiki D also gifted a membership. Thank you, Kiki D. Let's see. I was supposed to be sleeping already. Let's see. Evie says, all right, talk slowly. I'm halfway through part 2 on 2 times speed and want to catch up ASAP. We'll get there. You'll get caught up here pretty quick. Thanks to those who are gifting memberships. That is just awesome. Okay, I have to wake up hey, get some sleep. Make sure you put you first. You are the most important person. Thank you. All right, we are coming back to court in Thurston County, Washington. Just waiting for the live feed to come back right now, and it's going to take just a minute. We've already had some spicy. Initially, we had some spicy little arguments. Whoa, holy cow. Denise Feldman Ersland. Denise, thank you. Gifted another 5 memberships. They're flying off the shelves right now. Melanie, see you just got back in green as well. Wonderful. Yoli S. A few others there. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Denise. Very, very generous. Went over and watched Judge Wolf. It's a contested will by someone who claims to be a family member and no one knows her. Oh no! Somebody from the middle of nowhere claims to be the long lost child. That is crazy. We might have to go back and watch that one on Judge Wolf's if he keeps it up. Dream of Laundry says Landry says YouTube. I say laundry because I do. Dream of Landry. YouTube doesn't like me today, apparently. YouTube has not liked me as well. It's been lots of dirty laundry. Lots of dirty laundry on the Judge Wolf stuff. Hang on. Say no more. Let's go take a peek, shall we? See what's up with Judge Wolf. Mm-hmm. There he is.
I guess.
Okay, hang on.
I haven't done the math.
Anyone else have questions? Thank you, sir.
Okay, we're going to back up just a little bit.
Should I call Larry Byram?
Here we go. You can't see yet, can you? There we go. This is live right now, but we'll see what Judge Wolf is doing here. Oh, this is the Heavenly Wood. I love this place. Everyone's dressed for court. Jeans and a t-shirt.
Mr. Byram, state your name, full name.
Larry Byram.
And who's your parent that is related to Charlie Myatt?
Elizabeth Myatt.
Elizabeth Myatt.
I'm sorry. She goes by Martha for a while and Elizabeth, but yeah, Martha Elizabeth.
What was the relationship between your mother Elizabeth and Charlie? They have a good relationship?
Yeah.
And between your mother and Charlie, did you all talk about a family history?
I don't mention any kids, no.
Okay. As far as your uncle Charlie, did he ever disclose to you that he had a child?
No.
Can't they just do
to your
a DNA
knowledge,
test?
did your mother ever disclose to you that your uncle Charlie had a child?
No.
Did they have the type of relationship where he would have shared that with her?
I think it would.
Okay. And in fact, your Aunt Janie Myatt, did she ever disclose anything like that to you? Did your mother and Janie Myatt, did they have the type of relationship where they would have the conversations about Charlie?
Whoa. Yeah.
Great. You've heard the testimony of Miss Janie Myatt, and in fact, was it your mother that was at she says was part of making the funeral arrangements? Do you recall that?
Yes.
Do you recall having discussions with your mother about the family
I didn't
arrangements?
discuss the funeral, but her and Janie did that.
Okay. And you've seen the obituary for Charlie Myatt? Okay. And is that your understanding of the family of Charlie Myatt?
Okay, we're going to have to come back on this one because Thurston just barely.
You never know of during Charlie
pops
Myatt's
back up.
lifetime of him having a child.
So we're gonna have to jump to here.
All right, Kid Mockers, your witness ready?
We're gonna have to listen to that one. That was spicy.
Do you want to talk about that?
In Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to admit State's Exhibit 1, thumb drive containing one video and the video on it by agreement of the parties, and we request to publish to the jury during the course of Officer Johnson's testimony.
Okay, this is the issue we discussed yesterday morning then? About
yes, it's the video we were discussing yesterday.
And you've arrived at an agreement as to its length and content?
Yes, it's a single, and to articulate, it's a single 8.5 minute roughly video portion of the full hour and change interview.
And that's
Red Pen, thank you for gifting
Your Honor, if it's the
memberships.
same video Mr. Thompson showed me this morning, then I do believe it's admissible.
Okay, very good. All right, are we ready to bring the jury in and call your witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm all good, Becca. I'm good. Let's see, Red Pen, who did you hit with your gifts? Dreama Landry, for one. And AJ as well. Okay, we're gonna have to go back to Mr. Wolf at another time, but that's an interesting. A child nobody knew about coming to claim the inheritance. Good stuff.
Seated, please. Ms. Kidmacher, the state's next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Officer Rachel Johnson.
Right, please. You swear the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but
I do.
Please have a seat. Ms. Kidmacher, whenever you're ready.
Please state your name and spell it for the record.
Rachel Johnson, RACHAELJOHNSON.
And what is your current occupation?
I'm a police officer for the Tumwater Police Department.
How long have you been a police officer?
Paula Mack, you won the
Well,
internet.
I've been working with Tumwater for 5 years. Before that, I was commissioned officer for the Liquor Cannabis Board for about 2 years. Before that, I was a reserve officer for the Raymond Police Department for about 1 year.
What kind of training did it take for you to become a police officer?
You have to complete a criminal justice basic law enforcement academy. It's about 4 months long, unless you went through COVID times, and it was about 6 months long. It's about 720 hours of training regarding case laws, criminal law, patrol tactics, procedures, firearms, defensive tactics, investigations, report writing. And then once you complete that, at a agency, you get about 3 months of field training with 3 different officers typically, where you're in the field, responding to calls, investigating things, and learning the basics of how to investigate each call, because in the academy it's make-believe, but once you're in field training, it's real life. And so you have to about 3 months of that. And then after that, you get to be on the road by yourself.
Do you have any specific training on assault investigations?
Yes.
Can you tell me?
I went through the trainings of the RCWs of assaults at the Basic Law Enforcement Academy.
The make-believe ones?
I also have investigated numerous assault cases throughout my 5 years at the Tumwater Police Department.
How many assault investigations would you say you've done?
I couldn't even put a number on it. I would say over 50.
Were you on duty as a police officer on April 12th and 13th,
like
2023?
I couldn't put a number on it. I would say over
Do you
50.
remember being dispatched to the Hampton Special Care Center on April 12th, 2023?
Yes.
Why were you dispatched there?
I was responding to a call for service regarding an allegation made about a caregiver.
Objection. Is hearsay.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Regarding an allegation made about a caregiver having potentially assaulted a resident.
In what city and state is the Hampton Special Care Center located?
Tumwater, Washington.
Did you interview Mr. Donnie Lee Red Jr. on April 13th, 2023?
Yes.
Do you see that person in the courtroom?
Yes.
Can you point him out and describe what he's wearing?
He's the middle male at that desk wearing a gray suit.
Let the record show Officer Johnson has identified the defendant, Mr. Red.
Judge. I'm not sure if the judge heard that. I guess the record just is going to reflect that.
Your Honor, the city requests to publish Exhibit 1 to the jury.
Yes, go right ahead.
Oh, they stipulated to this, right? So no foundation needed?
Officer Johnson, I am showing you the state's Exhibit 1, previously admitted by agreement. Is this video from that interview?
Yes, that's my interview with Donnie on April 13th of 2023.
Thank you.
Can you explain your history with Betty? That was the resident, correct? Okay. What do you normally interact with Betty or care for Betty?
All the time.
All the time. Okay.
She's a real, I call her my cowgirl Betty.
Cowgirl Betty, okay.
She has a picture of her on her door of her 13 years old in a Western shirt.
Okay. Okay. So do you care for her daily or yes? Okay. Do you guys get assigned residents or do you kind of do?
We get assigned a ward.
A ward, a section?
A section.
Okay, and you have everybody in that section?
Yes.
And Betty's in that section?
Yes.
Okay, so since November, when you got hired, you've been assisting and caring for Betty?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you kind of know Betty. So what is Betty's typical behavior?
Her typical behavior when she's on medication, she's a sweet, loving lady. Off her medication, she's a total agitated
person, okay.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
She turns mean enough.
Okay. Is it just like verbal stuff or?
Oh, no.
Okay.
She'll hit, spit, fight, kick anybody that tries to deal with her when she's in that state.
Okay. And what's the procedure you're supposed to deal with what sounds like a combative resident?
Well, hopefully the med tech can give them something to help them come down off of the mental amount or something. But in Betty's case, when I talked to the med tech prior to trying to give her a shower, that the medication had been given for the day and she could not keep nothing.
Okay. So she's only allowed so much medication a day. Okay.
You don't make them zombie land.
Okay.
You do your best to assist them to have the best life possible.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And so if you can't get medication, what else are you supposed to do?
Well, in the case of the shower, I had no choice but to get a shower.
Okay.
She was soiled. You could smell her about 4 or 5 feet away. She needed cleaned up.
Okay. So outside of the shower, just like the normal day-to-day interaction, if she becomes agitated and gets physically violent, like biting, kicking, like you explained, and you can't get medication, what else are you trained to do? Do you just work through it, or do you have a procedure you're supposed to do?
A lot of times we try to put them in a quiet area and leave them alone. There does come time when you have to move them out of the quiet place, such as meals. They have to be toileted. You can't leave them sit there all day long in their own feces and their own urine.
Okay. Okay. So either put them in a quiet place or medicate them.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else?
In some situations, you just have to deal with and make the best of what you can do to help them maintain their dignity while you try to provide care for them.
Okay. So what does that look like?
Most of the time it's putting up for them hitting and stuff while you try to move them to wherever you need to move them.
Okay.
You can get hit, you can get spit on, you can get kicked, you can get hit.
Yeah, it seems like a tiring
And I mean,
job.
and even trying Alzheimer's is they have no retention of memories. But they do retain, they can tell you stuff that happened as a child in detail. So you can try to correct their actions and tell them, no, don't do that, or don't. And they have enough common sense left to know what they're doing is wrong. Sometimes it doesn't do any good, depending on the type of Alzheimer's they have or dementia.
So if they become this agitated or combative way, do they get like a punishment? Like maybe they miss a meal or?
No.
Okay.
Generally, like I said, we're not there to. I'm not a judge, jury, executioner. I'm there because I care for my people.
Yeah.
I care deeply for
Okay. So you're not supposed to discipline them in a taking things away.
No, I didn't take anything. The case with Betty, where she kept spitting on me, like about 10, 12 times, they getting spit in my face and stuff like that. I turned around, I blew back in her face, and I go, you don't like it? I don't like it. So she stopped.
Okay.
Then she went to her next one. The other people, okay, now I'll punch you.
That's what she was doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
First, now I'm gonna punch you. Okay. Stop. Did not hurt her, did not put no force, good. That's not nice.
Yeah.
Then she went to kicking. Well, kicking her is easy enough to move out of the way of the feet. And then when she dug her claws into me, and she dug it into the point where I was bleeding. Okay. At that point, my Betty's dressing room, and I got a pair of fingernail clippers. I did not clip her fingernails short. I just took the sharp point off.
Okay.
That way that when you, but no, I did not try to do anything that would harm her in any way. My hope and stuff was that she would remember, hey, that's not tolerable behavior. And I reminded her of that verbally several times. That's not tolerable behavior. If you sit still, we're done in 3 minutes. If you don't sit still, it takes however long it takes to do that.
No further questions.
So he said he blew in her face?
Examination.
Or he spit in her face. Was that a confession?
Good afternoon, Officer Johnson.
Hello.
You were dispatched to the Hampton?
Yes.
And you went to the Hampton?
Yes.
And you investigated the shower where the allegations took place?
Are you asking if I looked at the shower?
I'm asking if you investigated the shower. Did you inspect it?
No.
You never met with Miss Wood as part of your investigation?
No.
You didn't speak with Miss Wood as part of your investigation?
I was told she's nonverbal.
And you didn't inspect Miss Wood yourself as part of your investigation?
I didn't feel like it was necessary to subject her to that.
So it wasn't because she had already been physically evaluated by another employee at the facility?
She had been, and so I didn't feel like it was necessary to subject her to another round of it.
Okay. And it also wasn't because of Miss Wood's known combative behavior?
That was a consideration.
No further questions.
Is there any redirect, Ms. Kitlocker?
That was a good
No,
question.
Your Honor.
Officer Johnson, please step down. And Ms. Kitlocker, any further witnesses for the city?
No, Your Honor.
Just the city arrest?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Mr. Cal.
Your Honor, could we call Miss Janelle Reardon? I can.
She's on site?
She is outside, Your Honor.
Okay.
Miss Reardon, if you want to.
I'm right up here by the chair. Before you sit down, please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony that you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
All right, please have a seat and Mr. Cohen, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, Ms. Reardon. Can you please state your name and date of birth for the record?
Janelle Reardon, 42772.
Do you remember
Sorry about
April 11th, 2023?
Yes.
Where were you employed that day?
The Hampton.
And how long had you worked there at that point?
I just had my 2 years, so I think it was a couple months.
And what were your job duties and responsibilities at that time?
At that time, I was a med tech / floor nurse.
How many staff members were you responsible for supervising?
On the evening shift, it was usually, depending on the day, 3 and 2, 2 and 2. It's usually the ratio that we had at the time.
Okay. And if there was an issue with a resident, would that be reported to you?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Betty Wood?
Yeah.
And were you familiar with Miss Wood on April 11th, 2023?
Yes.
How are you familiar with Miss Wood?
Miss Wood is a resident at our facility.
Okay. And on April 11th, 2023, about how long had you known Miss Wood?
Same, about 2.5 months.
Did you work with her?
Yes.
How often did you work with her?
Maybe at least once or twice on a shift.
And what was it like to care for Miss Wood?
It kind of depended on the day, to be honest. She has dementia, pretty advanced dementia. And she can get a little aggressive.
So you indicated that you were a floor manager.
Mm-hmm.
As a floor manager, do you know what Miss Wood's general reputation was amongst staff members at the Hampton?
She could smack, or she could try to bite you.
Okay. So would you say she had a general reputation for violence?
Objection.
Yeah, it normally only happened during care.
Just a moment. Just a moment. There's an objection.
Oh, apologize.
You may not have heard that. Mr. Thompson.
Lacks sufficient foundation of knowledge to make such a determination.
I'm gonna overrule the objection. You can go ahead and answer.
Did she have a reputation for violence?
Just during care. A lot of the times it was during care because she would get scared and not understand.
Can you explain what that looked like?
Some days she was very sweet. And other days she would smack you or try to bite you because she didn't want you to touch her.
Were you working a shift on April 11th, 2023?
Yes.
Did you work with Miss Wood that day?
After the fact.
What interaction did you have with Miss Wood?
That day I wasn't actually the med tech. I was just there doing my other work. Mm-hmm. So the interaction I had was after the situation, I had to go in and scan her from head to toe.
So you checked her for injuries after the shower? Can you describe that inspection process?
So due to the allegations, I checked around her mouth to see if there's any red marks or any bruising, which would have been too soon to see. The red marks should have been there though. And then on her legs where the slap had happened, there was no marks that I could see.
So you didn't find any new injuries?
No.
Did Miss Wood say anything to you during the inspection?
She just said, okay. She doesn't know how to, she didn't have the ability to respond to that.
Thank you. No further questions.
And cross-examination to the city?
Yes, Your Honor. 1 second.
The state has arrested. I don't know if defense is going to call any other witnesses. They might have one more. I do not think the defendant is going to take the stand. I cannot see how that would be good for him at all, especially after they've already had his statement to police played in court, at least an 8-minute segment of it. The attorney, the supervising attorney, is writing out the questions for the practicing attorney who's brand new first case. This is her first day on the job, so to speak. This is the first case she's trying on the prosecution side. So he's preparing the arguments or the cross-examination questions for her to use. When we have brand new attorneys in court, it tends to have a lot of these delays. The charge does not require a physical mark to be there.
What is a med tech?
A med tech is somebody that is a CNA that does a medication administration to the residents.
What do you do when a patient behaves as Betty does?
A lot of redirection or reapproach first, and then if that's not successful, then most of the times they have what's considered a PRN for behavior that you would give them, and then try to reapproach a little bit later.
Can a person be hit, struck, spit on without there being an injury?
Yeah.
Without there being a mark?
I would assume so.
What is a CNA versus a nurse?
CNA is a caregiver. They help do the care for the residents, where the nurse, that's hard to explain, actually. I'm sorry. So a CNA is one that provides the care for the residents throughout the building. The nurse or the med tech are the ones that administer medications or do treatments. I do all the orders. That makes it easier to understand.
That blurred the lines. If there are any CNAs or nursing people on the jury, they might take issue with that definition.
So your exam was not a medical exam?
What do you mean? I have the ability to assess as a nurse.
Okay, just a question.
She's struggling here. She doesn't know the intent of the questions she's asking. So when there's a response, she doesn't know how to handle it. And this is just an experience. She'll get better over time. Julie, thank you so much. 10 months. Woot.
So you can diagnose injuries like a doctor could?
No, I cannot diagnose something. I can assess and then send that to the doctor.
Okay. Any further questions?
Is there any redirect then responses?
Ms. Reardon, in your experience working with elderly patients, is it more likely for skin to bruise or show marks?
Yes, because their skin integrity isn't like it used to be when they were younger.
And you didn't find any marks on Ms. Wood?
No.
No further questions.
Yeah, recross based on that, Ms. Gitmarker.
Yes, Your Honor.
She only knows the one question, so depending on the response.
How long do bruises take to show up?
Depending on the depth. Most will show up depending on what their medication is also. If they're on a blood thinner, it's usually pretty much right away. But if they're not, sometimes it'll take a day or two. And if they're really deep, it takes more than 3 days.
And how long after this incident did you examine Miss?
She was on alert for 72 hours. So she was checked on for about 3 days.
See, she didn't know the answers to those questions. That was not the answer that helped her.
So you gave an exam, you examined Betty, how often over 3 days?
The med techs and the caregivers did it daily. It wasn't me.
Did you only do it after
that one time? Yeah. Unless I was on duty that day.
How long after the incident did you examine Betty?
About 30 minutes.
No further questions.
She's getting her steps in, going back and forth and back and forth here.
Next step down. Oh.
Your Honor, could we call Mr. Donnie Red to the stand?
Mr. Red?
Whoa. He's testifying in his own defense. Ouch. Here we go. The fireworks are not done, Mattis. That's my catchphrase.
Here, and before you sit, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes, I do. Please have a seat.
This may be because so many of the jurors said they might hold it against him if he doesn't say his side of the story.
I think he's doing okay. Yeah. If you have a hard time hearing me or whoever's speaking with you, Mr. Red, you let me know.
Okay, we're right ahead.
All righty. Donnie, can you state your name and date of birth for the record?
Donnie Lee Red Jr.
Do you remember April 11th, 2023?
Yes, I do.
Were you working that day?
Yes, I was.
Where were you working?
Hampton Rehabilitation Center.
About how long had you been working at the Hampton at that point?
6 months.
Can you tell me about your job responsibilities there?
I was a CNA, a certified nurse's assistant. My job was to take and provide care for the personnel on my ward, or the patients on my ward.
About how many residents were you responsible for?
When the facility was full, 30 patients per ward. There was 2 wards.
Are you familiar with Miss Reagan Duplessis?
Would you please repeat?
Are you familiar with Miss Reagan Duplessis?
I had a very brief working relationship with Reagan.
How did you know her?
She was brought to me while I was on the ward serving dinner, introduced to me as a new nurse's aide that was been hired. That she had 9 years of experience, that I did not have to hold her hand like I would a new hire. And from dinner, we went and gave a shower. And after shower, we left for lunch, and I never seen her again. So my working relationship with her was approximately maybe an hour.
Are you familiar with Miss Betty Wood?
Yes, I am.
How are you familiar with her?
Miss Betty Wood was one of my patients that I took care of.
About how long had you known her?
6 months.
Can you tell us about your relationship working with Miss Wood?
Betty was an Alzheimer's patient, which I took care of as I did all the others on the ward. They were on a schedule for 2-hour quarantine, which means we go to them every 2 hours to make sure that they're dry, our personal needs are taken care of, or as often as we can. I made sure she got to the dining room, got her dinner. If she wouldn't eat by herself, I would feed her. If I'd get her ready for bed and get her into bed prior to the end of my shift.
Did you like working with Miss Wood?
Excuse me?
Did you like working with Miss Wood?
Miss Wood was a very sweet person, easy to get along with, as long as she was on her medications.
Did you ever have difficulties working with her?
A few times.
Can you elaborate?
Sometimes she would tip her plate over in the dining room, throw cups. If she was in a bad mood, she would be hard to work with one-on-one or something like that. She wouldn't allow you to take in toilet, or she wouldn't allow you to do health and comfort things.
When you say she wouldn't allow you, what did that look like?
Well, it could become a struggle. The easiest way to toilet a person is to take them into a bathroom, remove their pants, their depends, set them on the toilet, clean them off, put dry depends on them, and if necessary, put dry pants on them, and then get them out of the bathroom and then back into either the hallway or the common area, depending on the time of day it was.
What was Miss Wood like to, or what was it like to work with Miss Wood when she wasn't on her meds?
When she wasn't off?
When she was not on her meds?
She was grumpy. If you tried to reach down to get her to stand up to go with you to the bathroom, she'd stick her claws into you, and then she would be unwilling to walk from her chair or wherever into the bathroom.
On April 11th, 2023, what was your interaction with Miss Wood like?
When I first got to the Hamptons that night, I was the only aide on the ward. So my interaction with her didn't come into play where I could get to her until time to get her in for the dining room. Getting her into the dining room, she was obviously agitated before I even got to her. When I got her into the dining room, she was in one of her moves of dumping her cup upside down, brushing her plate off the table. But when my process of moving her from the common room to the dining room, it was more than obvious that Miss Betty needed to go in and be cleaned up in the bathroom.
Why did she need to be cleaned up?
Tremendous smell was the first indicator.
And when did Miss Duplessis join you for her training?
Sometime during the dining room process.
Did she help you shower, Miss Wood?
He did go with me into the shower with Miss Wood.
Did you ever spit on Miss Wood?
No.
How are you taught to deal with difficult residents?
With dignity to death.
And why couldn't Miss Wood shower have waited?
She had feces up and down her back, her legs, and on her bottom. It was to the point where simply taking her into the bathroom and trying to clean her off with wipes wouldn't have been significant. It had to be with the use of soap and water.
Thank you, Donnie. No further questions.
Skip Mocker, cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. You've never been taught to physically reprimand or discipline a resident, isn't that correct?
That is correct.
And when a resident is being aggressive, you've been taught to redirect and reapproach, isn't that correct?
That is correct.
What does it mean to redirect and reapproach?
To redirect is simply to try to get them to stop the line of thinking and refocus on another line of thinking.
What does it mean to reapproach?
So please.
What does it mean to reapproach?
Reapproach. Think of another way to address the issue that's happening at the time.
Isn't it true that it's inappropriate for a nurse to slap a patient's arm or leg?
Objection, Your Honor. Argumentative.
Overruled. It would be.
Isn't it true that it's inappropriate for a nurse to spit in the face of a patient?
Objection. He's not qualified as an expert nurse.
Overruled.
What was the answer to that? Sorry.
I said that would be true.
Isn't it true that it's inappropriate for a nurse to intentionally spray a patient in the face unless they're washing the patient's face?
That would be true.
Now you said you hovered your hand over Betty's face, but did not make contact. Isn't that correct?
That is what I said.
And you said Betty was trying to bite you, right?
At that point, she had bitten down on my scrubbed sleeve with her mouth.
Is what you're saying that you hovered your hand over the mouth of someone trying to bite you?
Objection.
I did not
This is
say
outside
that.
the scope of direct.
Overruled.
So, well, they confer. This is a tough one. We now have a conflicting testimony, which goes to, which means the jurors are going to have to decide which one they believe. We pretty much only have the two people who can testify about this, who observed this. We've got different accounts of it. I don't think they've. I don't think the state has impeached him, saying he's saying something different now than he said before. Opening statement said conflicting testimonies would happen. They have to be united. She bit his sleeve, I think. Yes. We're told there were no bruises. This is a tough one.
If it's inappropriate to hit or slap a patient, why did you hit Betty?
Objection, argumentative.
Sustain.
How old is Betty?
Objection.
Relevance.
One of you.
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
How old is Betty?
As far as I know, she could be in her 70s to 80s. I have no idea her exact age.
And she has Alzheimer's, correct?
She has Alzheimer's.
No further questions.
Is there any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
The argumentative questions, they have not yet had the witness say that he did not hit her. Loud car driving by.
Donnie, did you ever spray Miss Wood in the face with the shower head?
I did not.
Did Miss Wood kick you in the groin?
Yes, she did.
Thank you.
Based on that, is there any recross?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you can go have a seat next to your attorneys again.
Thank you, sir.
Are they going to rest?
And any further witnesses?
No, Your Honor, that would be defenses.
That's us. All right, is there any rebuttal witnesses from the city?
No, Your Honor.
Then members of the jury, this concludes the evidence part of the case. All right, you've heard all the evidence that you're going to hear in this case. What's going to happen next is I'm going to excuse you to the jury room. After I consult with the attorneys for a little bit, I'll bring you back into the courtroom. I'll give you your final instructions on the case, after which you'll hear arguments of counsel, and then you'll deliberate on the verdict. Okay, so I'll excuse you now to the jury room. Thank you.
I missed what he's doing. Why the jury hasn't been charged yet, right? Is there going to be a motion here for judgment of acquittal? It's not going to fly. Or a directed verdict?
Be seated, please. I had a chance to review the proposed instructions from both the city and from the defense. It's like you both submitted pattern instructions, and in addition, the defense has submitted self-defense instructions, also pattern instructions. After hearing all the evidence, the testimony, it looks like the instruction 6.31 regarding the defendants not testifying would need to be removed. But other than that, does the defense have any objection to any of the instructions as posed by the city?
No, Your Honor.
Right. And does the city have any objection to any of the instructions as proposed by the defense? Or there were only two?
Yeah, I just want to compare them because I think they might be lacking some of the lawful force information.
Door. Selena K gifted a membership. Thank you very much, Selena. We have a poll up right now. This is a tough one. Silky Mom says my grandmother threw a physical therapist into the wall. She had Alzheimer's. It was enlightening. It is he said, she said. It's exactly what it is. It's a tough one. Podcast is on tonight at 8 o'clock, Alyssa.
No objection to 1702, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, say again.
WIPIC 1702.
Mm-hmm.
No objection to that.
Lawful use of force?
Correct, Your Honor. I think it accurately removed the malicious trespass paragraph, and I don't think that would be appropriate, so I would agree with that one. And quick review of 1704.
Granny to 13, thank you. Just gifted 5 new memberships. That's very, very generous of you.
I don't believe there's any evidence in the record to support 1704.
Which is what?
I think this would apply more if there was fear of harm versus, I think what he would describe as being actually hit.
Kids are running in and out of the house. We're going to go ahead and close the poll out here. We've got...
I think the both instructions as proposed by the defense are an accurate statement of the law, and they're supported by the evidence produced in the record, and allow the defense to argue their theory of the case. So I will give both as proposed by the defense. And I will also give all of the instructions as proposed by the city, of course, with the exception about the defendant not testifying.
Thank you.
So actually what I need now is unsighted versions of both the cities and the defenses, just like we did earlier.
Okay, I'm going to close out the poll. I told you I was going to, but we'll do that now. Comes up with not guilty 65%, guilty 34%. So about a 2-to-1 ratio there. Thank you very much, Julie. Appreciate that. Saying the claim self-defense is justified. Healthcare workers have been seriously injured by elderly. We have rights to safe workspaces. He can't hit her. No, I cannot see who votes for what. I can't even see if you voted or not. I can just see the number. YouTube steals 1%. It's the one area they only steal 1%. Everywhere else it's higher. Not stealing though. They just take it because they can. We need to protect both patients and the workers, says L. Hellman. Dementia patients can be really scary. Kenny Peterson says, glad I found your channel. Great community and mods. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Kenny. 5 months there. Next month, you got a new color of courthouse. That's exciting. Irish and Scottish says, I've had to restrain patients with doctors and security to dart them to sedate. It would be distressing to people who don't understand safe holds. Man, that just brought back some movie I watched as a kid, which probably was very inappropriate, but at the time I probably didn't catch that. But it had a dart gun in it. I remember the movie ended with the dart gun being fired and nailing somebody in the butt, and that was like freeze frame. That was the end of the movie. I don't remember anything else about the movie. Hopefully it's not a bad one. All right. It goes with the job. I've actually been insulted by a cancer patient. It's tough, but you have to remove emotion from it. Susan says there's not enough to convict. Donna says, I can't even remember how many times I was swung on by patients, but I never even thought about hitting anyone. Detectives, I think you got hit by Granny to 13. I think that's where you got your gift from. Just barely happened. Thank you, Granny to 13. Diane, this is a tough case. This is out of Thurston, Washington. It's a case where the gentleman on the left, the gentleman in the middle of the table on the left, on the right-hand side of the picture, is a caregiver, or was a caregiver at a nursing home, and it's alleged that he spit on and slapped a resident who was he was trying to shower, and they were being combative. The allegation was made by a new employee who was there just that day, who had been there for, according to testimony, about an hour, and observed that, and then left and filed a report. That lady who filed the report was the star witness, I guess you could say, of one of the two witnesses for the state, or for the city. I keep saying state, but it's the city of Tumwater on the right. She testified she didn't recall a lot of the facts that were favorable to the defense about the instance, but did recall the facts that were not favorable to him. That was a little suspicious. Even after reviewing her report that she wrote the day of the incident, she said it did not refresh her recollection. So it was an interesting scenario there. Julie said, I had dementia resident chase me around the lobby at night, throwing things at me. I lured her away from the other residents and had to call police. Oh, man. Karen Dietrich, 9 months. Congratulations, Karen. This community is the best place to watch trials. RA, you're wonderful. The mods are fantastic, and the chat are the best, just like family. Love it. Thank you, Karen. Wouldn't be the same without you. Thank you so much. These patients are not in a normal person's mind. They have no idea what they're doing. Christy, a lot of times they're scared. Imagine not being able to get out of a fight or flight mode, and flight doesn't get you away from the fear that exists as reality in your mind. Imagine being in that scenario all the time. Gordon says, caregiver. We say carer in the UK. It saves 4 letters. Yes, it does. You also say aluminium, though, and we say aluminum. So, we save a few there. Christine Perkins says, I'm watching Montgomery trial and miss Recovery Addict's commentary during trials. That's a tough one, Christine. That is just, that's a terrible, terrible case. Heartbreaking. Patch is actually 9 months and counting. Yes, but YouTube's a little behind on the numbers. It's all right. Thank you, Patches. Appreciate you being here for that time. We're waiting now as the jury instructions are going to be printed. Copies for each of the jurors, I believe. But we call them out correctly, though. Okay, but what's with there are a couple of words that I never got along with. Okay, first of all, a wing mirror. A wing mirror is a side mirror on a car, and then the front of the car, that's where the bonnet is, and the back is the trunk, right? No, that's the boot. The boot, like the same thing you put on your foot to go out and walk in the rain. But no, you don't put boots on your feet over there. You put wellies on, right? So it's confusing. And if your car, if it does break down, you first open the bonnet, see what's wrong, go around to the boot, open it up, grab your tools, and bring out a spanner. A spanner is what we'd call a wrench, and then you use the wrench to fix the engine in your car. All good stuff. I love all the words. How did the whistleblower change her story? I missed that. She did not recall today on the stand when she testified anything about what the defendant or what the victim was doing. Didn't recall any of the violence, any of the hitting, the spitting, the kicking, or anything. It was all one-sided. Whereas her report that she wrote the day of, she was quite violent. The victim was quite violent in the report. It doesn't change it. Doesn't make it right if those things occurred. But it's an interesting fact to forget all those parts. Wing mirrors are obviously from the time when we rode pigeons. I thought wellies were different than boots. Wellies are like an unlined boot. It's like a rubber boot. It's just for waterproof, I believe. Waterproofing. What about drive on a parkway and park on the driveway? You say tomato. I also say tomato. No, tomato, right? In Scotland, we roll both of our R's. How do you say R's and roll it? I can't do that one. The judge is rearranging his desk, checking his stocks. While the judge is doing that, let me just take a moment to say, I went to Little Caesars with my family the other day. And we purposefully did not go to the Little Caesars that's closest to my house because it's so terrible. It's just, it's like, if Little Caesars was staffed entirely by individuals who are court-ordered to be there, I would expect better service and quality than what we got. Okay, that's what I'll put there. So I went to this other Little Caesars, and we did not pre-order. We just showed up, and the guy that came up to the counter, his name was Josh, was just smiles, like, and just like, "Hey, sir, how are you doing tonight?" And he meant it. He asked the question, and I'm like, "I'm doing well. How about you?" And he's like, "Hey, it's a great day. It's wonderful. What can I get for you?" With that sort of bounce in his voice and excitement and quickness in his step, where you could tell he wanted to serve me quickly. But at the same time, he was spending time with me as a customer and saying, "You are my whole attention is right here." And I told him what I wanted, and he's like, "All right, it's going to be about this long. Is it all right if I bring those out to your car for you when they're done?" And I'm like, yes, you can. And so I promptly went out and sat in the car and waited until the pizzas were done, and tweeted Little Caesars. I'm like, "Hey guys, Little Caesars, you've got the best employee ever. Right here. This is my new favorite store. I will drive the extra 3 miles to get to this Little Caesars because it's worth it if I can have this guy treat me as a customer." So anyway, was there a big Caesar to order around the little ones? No. Crazy bread is so good. Little Caesars, also not a sponsor of the show. Pizza. Here's a trick question for you. 6 volts, since you remember pizza. What was their slogan before that? This is like a podcast question. And no Googling. I know you know the internet. No Googling. My current obsession is duck donuts. Susan Lynn, do you drive a Jeep? I'm asking for a friend. Their slogan before was "Hey tu Brute." Hey tu Brute. No. And you, Brutus? No. That was long before. That was the other Caesar. And Little Caesars did respond to my tweet. Yes, they did. Thank you, Tumwater Troy. $5 hot and sweaties. All you remember is pizza. Does anyone remember? They had another saying. I guess it was just pizza. Why? Because I can't remember it either. What's the correct answer? I don't know. We ate a lot of pizza. 2 great pizzas, 1 low price. I think it was pizza because the boxes it came in a box with 2 pizzas. It was like a double wide. When you're talking about pizza, you get the large box, and there's no holding it. I mean, it's like pizza started in 1979. Yeah, so it was pizza. It was a trick question. It was pizza before hot and ready, which they've sort of gone away from hot and ready. Now they just say, well, we'll cook it. We'll cook it for you. I was going to save this for the podcast, but since they're going so slowly here, we'll do another brand one. This is a great topic for slow moments in court. 7-Up. 7-Up. What was the original slogan for 7-Up? 7-Up is a clear lemon lime carbonated soda. For those that don't know, it's like similar to Sprite. And RA is something completely different in Ireland. Yes. Jade says, fun fact, I grew up right down the road from the original and first Little Caesars. Hopefully you were the reason why they decided to branch out. They're like, hey, the people like this. Thank you if that was you. My kids depend on that occasionally. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Oh, Avoid the Noid was Domino's. The way back. Oh my goodness, that was late 80s, wasn't it? Late 80s for Avoid the Noid. So Sprite. 7-Up guaranteed to make you burp. Their original one. I'm seeing if anybody's got it here. I don't see it. The only reason I know this is because my mom had a collectible bottle from like early when 7-Up was first started, and it has the printing on it with its slogan. And the slogan was, no caffeine, never had it, never will. They were running on the "We're not Coke" banner. That was how they were selling it. No caffeine, never had it, never will. So while they're still going, I've got another thing to show you here. Check this out. Let's switch it here. Can you guys see these? Do you know what these are? These are s'mores M&Ms. These are s'mores M&Ms, like literally campfire s'mores, artificial flavor M&Ms. Have you guys ever seen this before? I'm going to try them again tonight for the first time because the first bag didn't count. Here's the thing. I've never had a s'more before in my life. This is the closest thing I've ever had to having a s'more. And you guys say, how could you never have eaten a s'more before? Well, I was a scoutmaster. I've been on more campouts than pretty much almost anybody. All right. I've been camping. There were years that I camped at least once a month, sometimes for 3 to 5 days per month. It's crazy in all weather, but I never ever ate a s'more. These are yummy. These are yummy. I might have to change that. I was like, what? No s'mores? I don't like sticky stuff. Have you ever tried to see someone eat? Okay, you've got melted chocolate, okay, which never goes well in the dark on your clothes. Melted chocolate is it's terrible. And then melted marshmallows, which burns you, scalds you, sticks to your skin, burns you further, and then dries to a sticky mess. I cannot. Why would anyone eat that or make an attempt to eat it? The best part is licking your fingers. No. You're out. You know where your hands have been all day long? In the dirt, lighting fires, breaking sticks, and getting bugs out of your sleeping bag. Not going to go eat s'mores. Kiki, the two of us are just going to hang out and be right, while everyone else is not. That's okay. Then you simply shower. But you're outside. You're in the out. Were you at home? If we were doing this in the kitchen, that's a different story. But you're out in the nature, in the wild. There are no showers just ready to go. That's not camping. If there's a shower, you're at a hotel. It's called building immunity. We're waiting for the judge to print the jury instructions. Then the jury's going to be instructed, and then we're going to go out. They're going to deliberate probably for a whole 10 minutes and come back with a verdict. Or not. But hopefully they'll come back before our podcast starts tonight at 8 o'clock, because it's 5:45 right now. The best is roasted Starburst. That's also sticky. It's just sugar. It's melted sugar. Please explain s'mores for the international audience. Okay. A graham cracker, which is it's like a honey flavored cracker. Typically rectangular in shape, but can be broken down in segments. They're like semi-perforated, so you can snap them. So a graham cracker, a marshmallow, which is traditionally cooked over a fire to various degrees of charredness. Some are just warmed, and other people will literally light them on fire, blow them out, and then eat them. And then a Hershey's candy bar, which is basically mostly wax, but it looks like chocolate. And then like another graham cracker. And you make a sandwich out of that and try to eat the whole thing, which you can't do that. You can't make a sandwich out of graham crackers and expect anything to stay in your mouth. You take a bite, the whole thing just crumbles in your hand, and then you've got scalding hot marshmallow with melting wax chocolate on your hand, covered in graham cracker crumbs. People call it a s'more because they don't want to say the other words that they think of when that happens. And you eat it around a fire when you're camping.
Full calendar tomorrow.
Full calendar.
I recommend the MIT method. Yes, the MIT method is the way to go.
Probably show face on both. Definitely the in custody.
I assume so. It's kind of like I think I scheduled myself like all day Friday. Like I feel bad. Like they've covered all week because I was supposed to be a juvenile.
Mm.
But Alex is traveling to Superior Court, so.
Mm.
Ayden, you're on thin ice, bud. You're on thin ice. They're sickly. They're sticky. They're very sticky. I will eat toasted marshmallows, lab man. Love toasted marshmallows. I can cook them perfectly. Never lit on fire. Evenly browned around the whole outside.
Go now. Yeah, go now.
Go. Apparently she needs to go to the bathroom, and she needs to go now. Gloria, my description has you laughing out loud. That's because it's true, and you know it. You know it's true. I would not lie about something like that. All about the char. Let me do a quick check on something right here. Let's see, are we on camera 3? No. Okay. Good, then I can change it. Let's see. Okay, I have to say we're gonna call this out, and she doesn't know I'm gonna do this, but Welsh lady in chat, who you've heard on the phone and who we love her accent. After we have encouraged her and commented on how wonderful her accent is and how much we love to listen to it, she has gone ahead and made a YouTube channel, and it has 11 subscribers. And if you would like to be the 12th, just Google Welsh or search on YouTube for Welsh Lady Reads. Welsh Lady Reads, and you could, you can't be the 12th because I'm the 12th. I didn't realize I wasn't subscribed on this channel. But she calls out our channel on her description. If you'd like to get more of Welsh Lady reading, there's a channel for that. Finally, I don't know what you're going to read, and please don't get in trouble reading things you're not supposed to if it's copyright and stuff. I don't know what happens there, but I'd love to hear you read some more. So we'll go ahead and throw your channel name out there for people to listen to. I can't wait for your content. And now we get to see your face as well, which is wonderful. I love s'mores with Keebler fudge striped cookies instead of graham crackers. Okay, John, that is that's an improvement, because now you don't have like chocolate and graham crackers separate. They're all mixed into one. But the problem is the stripes, no matter how you put the cookie, there's chocolate on the outside. And if you heat it up, it gets all over your hands. Ooh, we're up to 50. Up to 50. Welsh lady, you're going to have to read some more. Let's see. 57. It's going up. It's going up. All right, the second video is about camping. Oh, no. Oh, man. Let's see. Welsh lady reads a bedtime book. Welsh lady reads. The second video is about camping. We'll have to listen into that one.
Yeah.
Welsh lady, we're rapidly approaching 100 subscribers for you. Welsh lady 81 is the handle. Welsh lady 81, and the number just gets added on by YouTube. I don't know why. Where's your son at in the voting? Let me check. Let's get rid of J Hatch here for a second. Where's my mouse? Oh, this mouse. My son is in the lead with 51 votes. Let me see. Let me refresh and see if there's more. 58 votes. This is him right here. The one that's dark right here, that play button. That's my son's video. 58 votes. He's in the lead. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that. Thank you, Weatherwatch. This is if you need a link in chat, if you look right now, Weatherwatch watches, find his comment as you scroll up a little bit. That's a link to Weatherwatch, or that's a link to the Welsh Ladies channel. Welsh Lady over 100. Cali Girl, I can't get you straight to the website to vote. I wish there was a link straight to voting. The problem is it requires you to sign up. So I'm not seeing. I mean, if you want to do it, it's cool. It does take a couple minutes to just build a free account on this website right here, and then you have to go through the dashboard and click on the link for the YouTube contest, and then find the high school category, and then find my son. But that's the piano website. Digital String Theory, welcome. You're at a point you can do it. There's the link. It's called pianomarvel.com. That is the website tool that piano teachers use. And so my son's piano teacher uses Piano Marvel. She also has her own website that she tracks stuff through, but thank you. Welsh lady, happy to get you over 100. That is wonderful. You're going to do all the heavy lifting, though, from here with all the wonderful reading. Cynthia, if he wins, I think there's $100 reward for the winner, and mostly it's bragging rights and bragging rights for his school, like his teacher, because this contest is like all over. They have international students and everything, even though it's a small website. It's open to entries from all over the place. So it's mostly bragging rights and a cool prize as a thank you. I'm sending the piano link to the clubhouse now. Just one person per account. We're not trying to have anyone do anything otherwise than that. Welsh lady, you're going to have to make a thank you video and then read us some more stories. Maybe the news. We'd love to hear the news in a beautiful accent. All right, we have been sitting here for what seems like about an hour. I have not been running the timer, but we're waiting. Allie B from Tennessee, welcome to the gallery. Thank you very much. Yellow Courthouse, at least 6 months of support there. Thank you, Allie B. Nancy D says you have to eat a peck of dirt before you croak. Well, I've ridden a motorcycle, Nancy, which means I've had worse than dirt fly into my mouth while driving. I've had things that can sting and bite fly, and get stuck in my teeth. It happens. How can you tell if a motorcycler is happy? He's got bugs in his teeth. Ask WeatherWatch. He knows. Now the judge left. Defendant's by himself. No lawyers. And it's buffering. Did they shut it down? Are we waiting? They did shut it down. So now we have to wait. Again, they're going to restart it because the judge walked out of the room.
Tuesday afternoon.
Hey, it's Judge Darrow talking to our favorite, Darrell Brooks. Okay. So we're waiting for the judge to come back here. It's going to be just a minute. Where's the contest portion? Are you talking about the piano one? How do we know which kid is RA's kid? Because it will look like... Okay, let me see if I can walk you through this. Just 1 second, if you guys are lost. Okay, so this mouse right here. Okay, here we go. All right, right here. No, that's not it. YouTube competition, Piano Marvel. Okay, when you log in, when you sign up for Piano Marvel, up in the top right-hand corner, there's a sign up or a sign in. Once you're signed in and have an account, you click on Dashboard, and it will bring you to this page. You guys see? Oh, it helps if you guys can see this. There we go. Hang on. We'll take a call while this happens. And it didn't work.
Call from.
There it was. Hello. Hello, this is Scott.
Hi, Scott. Scott is Nadine. Listen, the kid, hi, it's Nadine. I think it's the kids with the most votes.
My kid does have the most votes, I think, right now. Yes. Let me just show. You get to this page, you click Dashboard. On the YouTube competition, you go over here to Vote Now. And then it brings up all these pages. This is early elementary, late elementary, middle school, high school. Go to the high school side, and my son's is right here. It's the dark one that sort of has the ghost piano in the background. That's the one. I would play it for you, but I can't because I would get a strike. So that's it.
I just did an account quick.
Yep. It was easy to vote?
Very easy, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It was 64 when I voted.
And we're up to
Okay.
69 now. Thank you so much.
69. No problem. We
Appreciate
love
it.
you.
All right, thank you.
Absolute best. You know that.
Yep. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. All right. I don't know what the sentence would be. Joyful, how's it going? Thanks for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Welsh lady says, you are such amazing people, Scott. Thank you. I'll read you anything you want with pleasure. Okay, guys, did you hear that? She's caught. What should we make her read? What should we make her read? This is your chance. You'd have to register an account first. So if you don't want to do that, that's fine. I understand. I table a motion for what we want Welsh lady to read. Storybooks, narrated tours, poetry, bedtime stories. I'm thinking something legal in nature. Menus. You know how hungry would be if she read a menu? Lord of the Rings, says Megan Dragon. The whole series. Emily D. Baker has some interesting books. No, you can't read those. We might have to have her read like Sarah Boone's letter or something. Read the Wonky Donkey. Oh, that is the best. That is the best. The Wonky Donkey is. If you haven't watched that video, it's good stuff. This is the winning comment right here, Nicola. That is a great comment. Okay, last time here, I'll post the link one more time for the. This is the website. I can't get you straight to the link, but here's the website right here. It's called pianomarvel.com, like there. But watching to see if we get the court back here. Hopefully they come back very quickly. Judge is off the bench for just a minute. Nothing else is happening up in Thurston right now. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. He's practiced a lot. My son's, I'm not going to say his name, but his initials are AM, and it's the one with it's under the high school category, and it's the picture with sort of like a ghost piano across the screen, and him in a circle up in the corner as well. Androids don't work. Had to use a computer, says Carrie H. Should say vote now in the top right. Yeah, Piano Marvel is built for iPads. It actually, my son uses it. The iPad connects to the piano itself and takes as a digital input. So as he's playing, it can track and show where he made mistakes and what note he pushed instead. It's really, really fun. P. Will for real says, by the way, I'm Ari's son. He just doesn't know it yet. Appreciate your kindness. Thank you very much. I appreciate all that. He is so excited. And he saw that he had like 10 subscribers on YouTube. He's like, yay. He's only done a little bit. He'll be posting a few more videos, but do you see what happened in Sheridan, Wyoming on Tuesday? I saw Sheridan in the news. Oh, what was that? Luna Whispers. I'm trying to remember what happened in Wyoming. It was some breaking news. Was it a shooting? Okay, they're live again. We're back in court. Looks like the jury is just barely coming back in. Let's see how far back we missed. Oh, about 20 seconds. We'll start at the beginning so we don't miss anything. Judge has his papers. Everything's in order.
How much exercise do you want? I need those. Jury appearance right up.
If you're on the website and you find the contest, the YouTube contest, click on the high school category. And then my son, his initials are A.M. That's his first and last initials. I don't give out his whole name like on the channel, but you'll obviously be able to see it there. And his is the image shows him playing the piano, and it's also got him in a little circle up in the corner as well. Do we have all our jurors?
Members of the jury, when you came in, you should have found on your chair a packet entitled Court's Instructions to the Jury. These are my instructions to you on the law in this case. Please feel free to follow along or just listen. It's up to you. All right, and instruction number 1, it is your duty to decide the facts in this case based upon the evidence presented to you during the trial. It is also your duty to accept the law from my instructions, regardless of what you personally believe the law is or what you personally think it should be. You must apply the law from my instructions to the facts that you decide have been proved, and in this way decide the case. Keep in mind that a charge is only an accusation. The filing of a charge is not evidence that the charge is true. Your decisions as jurors must be made solely upon the evidence presented during these proceedings. The evidence that you're to consider during your deliberations consists of the testimony that you've heard from witnesses, stipulations, and the exhibits that I've admitted during the trial. If evidence was not admitted or was stricken from the record, then you are not to consider it in reaching your verdict. Exhibits may have been marked by the court clerk and given a number, but they do not go with you to the jury room during your deliberations unless they've been admitted into evidence. The exhibits that have been admitted will be available to you in the jury room. One of my duties has been to rule on the admissibility of evidence. Do not be concerned during your deliberations about the reasons for my rulings on the evidence. If I've ruled any evidence as inadmissible, or if I've asked you to disregard any evidence, then you must not discuss that evidence during your deliberations or consider it in reaching your verdict. Do not speculate whether the evidence would have favored one party or the other. In order to decide whether any proposition has been proved, you must consider all of the evidence that I have admitted that relates to the proposition. Each party is entitled to the benefit of all of the evidence, whether or not that party introduced it. You are the sole judges of the credibility of each witness. You are also the sole judges of the value or weight to be given to the testimony of each witness. In assessing credibility, you must avoid bias, conscious or unconscious, including bias based on religion, ethnicity, race, sexual orientation, gender, or disability. In considering a witness's testimony, you may consider these things: the opportunity of the witness to observe or know the things he or she testifies about, the ability of the witness to observe accurately, the quality of a witness's memory while testifying, the manner of the witness while testifying, any personal interest that the witness might have in the outcome or the issues, any bias or prejudice that the witness may have shown, the reasonableness of the witness's statements in the context of all of the other evidence, and any other factors that affect your evaluation or belief of a witness or your evaluation of his or her testimony. The lawyer's remarked statements and arguments are intended to help you understand the evidence and apply the law. It is important, however, for you to remember that the lawyer's statements are not evidence. The evidence is the testimony and the exhibits. The law is contained in my instructions to you. You must disregard any remarked statement or argument which is not supported by the evidence or the law in my instructions. You may have heard objections made by the lawyers during trial. Each party has the right to object to questions asked by another lawyer and may have a duty to do so. These objections should not influence you. Do not make any assumptions or draw any conclusions based on a lawyer's objections. Our state constitution prohibits a trial judge from making a comment on the evidence. It would be improper for me to express by words or conduct my personal opinion about the value of testimony or other evidence. I have not intentionally done this. If it appeared to you that I have indicated my personal opinion in any way, either during trial or in giving these instructions, you must disregard this entirely. You have nothing whatever to do with any punishment that may be imposed in case of a violation of the law. You may not consider the fact that punishment may follow conviction except insofar as it may tend to make you careful. The order of these instructions has no significance as to their relative importance. They are all important. In closing arguments, the lawyers may properly discuss specific instructions. During your deliberations, you must consider the instructions as a whole. As jurors, you are officers of this court. You must not let your emotions overcome your rational thought process. You must reach your decision based upon the facts proved to you and the law given to you, not on sympathy, prejudice, or personal preference. To assure that all parties receive a fair trial, you must act impartially with an earnest desire to reach a proper verdict. Number two, as jurors, you have a duty to discuss the case with one another and to deliberate in an effort to reach a unanimous verdict. Each of you must decide the case for yourself, but only after you consider the evidence impartially with your fellow jurors. During your deliberations, you should not hesitate to re-examine your own views and to change your opinion based upon further review of the evidence in these instructions. You should not, however, surrender your honest belief about the value or significance of evidence solely because of the opinions of your fellow jurors, nor should you change your mind just for the purpose of reaching a verdict. Number three, the defendant has entered a plea of not guilty. That plea puts in issue every element of the crime charged. The city is the plaintiff and has the burden of proving each element of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. The defendant has no burden of proving that a reasonable doubt exists as to these elements. A defendant is presumed innocent. This presumption continues throughout the entire trial unless during your deliberations you find it has been overcome by the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. A reasonable doubt is one for which a reason exists and may arise from the evidence or lack of evidence. It is such a doubt as would exist in the mind of a reasonable person after fully, fairly, and carefully considering all of the evidence or lack of evidence. If, from such consideration, you have an abiding belief in the truth of the charge, you are satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt. Number four, the evidence that's been presented to you may be either direct or circumstantial. The term direct evidence refers to evidence that is given by a witness who has directly perceived something that is at issue in this case. The term circumstantial evidence refers to evidence from which, based on your common sense and experience, you may reasonably infer something that is at issue in this case. The law does not distinguish between direct and circumstantial evidence in terms of their weight or value in finding the facts in this case. One is not necessarily more or less valuable than the other. Number five, a person commits the crime of assault in the fourth degree when he or she commits an assault. To convict the defendant of the crime of assault in the fourth degree, each of the following elements of the crime must be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. One, that on or about April 11th of 2023, the defendant assaulted Betty Mae Wood, and two, that this act occurred in the city of Tumwater, Washington. If you find from the evidence that each of these elements has been proved beyond a reasonable doubt, then it will be your duty to return a verdict of guilty. On the other hand, if after weighing all the evidence, you have a reasonable doubt as to any one of these elements, then it will be your duty to return a verdict of not guilty. Number seven, an assault is an intentional touching or striking of another person with unlawful force that is harmful or offensive, regardless of whether any physical injury is done to the person. A touching or striking is offensive if the touching or striking would offend an ordinary person who is not unduly sensitive. An assault is also an act with unlawful force done with the intent to inflict bodily injury upon another, tending but failing to accomplish it, and accompanied with the apparent present ability to inflict the bodily injury if not prevented. It is not necessary that bodily injury be inflicted. An assault is also an act with unlawful force done with the intent to create in another apprehension or fear of bodily injury, and which in fact creates in another a reasonable apprehension and imminent fear of bodily injury, even though the actor did not actually intend to inflict bodily injury. An act is not an assault if it is done with the consent of the person alleged to have been assaulted. Number 8, a person acts with intent or intentionally when acting with the objective or purpose to accomplish a result that constitutes a crime. Number 9, bodily injury means physical pain or injury, illness, or an impairment of physical function, physical condition. Instruction number 10. It is a defense to the charge of assault in the 4th degree that the force used was lawful as defined in this instruction. The use of force upon or toward the person of another is lawful when used by a person who reasonably believes that he is about to be injured in preventing or attempting to prevent an offense against the person, and when the force is not more than is necessary. The person using the force may employ such force and means as a reasonably prudent person would use under the same or similar conditions as they appeared to that person, taking into consideration all the facts and circumstances known to the person at the time of and prior to the incident. The city has the burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt that the force used by the defendant was not lawful. If you find the city has not proved the absence of this defense beyond a reasonable doubt, it will be your duty to return a verdict of not guilty. A person is entitled to act on appearances in defending himself. If he believes in good faith and on reasonable grounds that he is in actual danger of injury, although it afterwards might develop that the person was mistaken as to the extent of the danger. Actual danger is not necessary for the use of force to be lawful. Number 12. When you begin deliberating, you should first select a presiding juror. The presiding juror's duty is to see that you discuss the issues in this case in an orderly and reasonable manner, that you discuss each issue submitted for your decision fully and fairly, and that each one of you has a chance to be heard on every question before you. Deliberations are to occur only in the jury room when all 6 jurors are present. You are all officers of the court and must evaluate the evidence with an open mind, free of bias or prejudice. If, during your deliberations, you become concerned that the discussions are being influenced by preconceived bias or prejudice, you must bring this to the attention of the other jurors so that the issue may be fairly discussed among all members of the jury. During your deliberations, you may discuss any notes that you've taken during the trial if you wish. You've been allowed to take notes to assist you in remembering clearly, not to substitute for your memory or the memories or notes of other jurors. Do not assume, however, that your notes are more or less accurate than your memory. You will need to rely on your notes and memory as to the testimony provided in the case. Testimony will rarely, if ever, be repeated for you during your deliberations. If, after carefully reviewing the evidence and instructions, you feel the need to ask the court a legal or procedural question that you've been unable to answer, write the question out simply and clearly. For this purpose, use the form provided in the jury room. In your question, do not state how the jury has voted. The presiding juror should sign and date the question and give it to the bailiff, and I will confer with the lawyers to determine what response, if any, can be given. You will be given the exhibits admitted in evidence, these instructions and verdict forms for recording your verdict. Some exhibits and visual aids may have been used in court, but will not go with you to the jury room. The exhibits that have been admitted into evidence will be available in the jury room. You must fill in the blank provided in the verdict form, the words not guilty or the word guilty, according to the decision you reach. Because this is a criminal case, each of you must agree for you to return a verdict. When all of you have so agreed, fill in the verdict form to express your decision. The presiding juror must sign the verdict form and notify the bailiff. The bailiff will bring you into court to declare your verdict. Members of the jury, would you please give your attention to Ms. Kitmacher with the closing argument on behalf of the city.
On April 11th, 2023, Mr. Red assaulted Miss Betty May Wood, an elderly person with Alzheimer's who lived at the Hampton Special Care Center. Mr. Red was entrusted with her care, and he abused that trust. I know you've heard a lot of information today, but I want to remind you that you are here to determine if Mr. Red is guilty of assault in the 4th degree. The city has met its burden beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Red assaulted Betty on April 11, 2023 in the city of Tumwater, Washington. It's the city's duty to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that a crime has been committed. You heard from the judge that a reasonable doubt is one for which a reason exists. It may arise from the evidence or lack of evidence. It is such a doubt as would exist in the mind of a reasonable person after fully, fairly, and carefully considering all the evidence or lack of evidence. If from such consideration you have an abiding belief in the truth of the charge, you are satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt. I would submit to you that if you believe Mr. Red committed an assault and you believe his force was unlawful, then you are convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that he is guilty. I submit to you that if that is the case, you're also convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Red did not act in self-defense. If you walk back into that jury room and you believe Mr. Red spit in Betty's face, sprayed her in the face, and slapped her arm or leg, you are convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Red committed assault in the 4th degree. If that is the case, you have the duty to find Mr. Red guilty. To convict Mr. Red of assault in the 4th degree, there are 2 elements which must be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. 1, that on April 11th, 2023, Mr. Red assaulted Betty Mae Wood, and 2, that this act occurred in the city of Tumwater, Washington.
Objection. It's an improper statement of law.
Overruled. The jury has been instructed on how to evaluate arguments of counsel.
It is undisputed that this incident happened in the city of Tumwater, Washington on April 11th, 2023. You heard Officer Johnson testify that she spoke with Mr. Red, who described an incident that happened at the Hampton in Tumwater, Washington on April 11th, 2023.
Up to a year in jail.
You heard the same information from Ms. Duplessis.
On $5,000 fine.
What is really contested today is whether Mr. Red assaulted Betty. Assault and his intentional touching or striking of another person with unlawful force that's harmful or offensive, regardless of whether any physical injury is done to the person. A touching or striking is offensive if the touching or striking would offend an ordinary person who is not unduly sensitive. I submit to you that if an ordinary person found an unwanted hand on the shoulder offensive, that would constitute assault. Assault does not have to result in injury. Members of the jury, the city will concede that Betty was behaving aggressively and that she left marks on Mr. Red. But even if you think some sort of self-defense was permissible, the level and type of force Mr. Red used in response to Betty's behavior was not reasonable. Spraying an elderly Alzheimer's patient in the face was not a reasonable response. Spitting in an elderly Alzheimer patient's face was not a reasonable response. Slapping an elderly Alzheimer's patient's arm and leg was not a reasonable response. His behavior was retaliatory, not self-defense. The city would submit to you that no nurse or caregiver would spit in the face of a patient or resident as a means of self-defense or as a means of lawful force. It is unfortunately part of the job to deal with aggressive combatant patients who do not want to be showered. Mr. Red's response was not in accordance with the law. The lawful response here would have been to re-engage at a later time, or to ask Ms. Duplessis for assistance, or even to push Betty's hand away. The level of force must be reasonable to the circumstances. If a kindergartner was to punch an adult, that adult would not be permitted to clock the kindergartner. The response has to be reasonable given the circumstances. As jurors, you are officers of this court. It is your duty to reach your decision based on the facts provided to you and the law given to you, not on sympathy, prejudice, or personal preference. The defendant's actions were unreasonable. They are an assault, and we ask that you find him guilty of assault in the 4th degree.
All right, and now, members of the jury, would you please give your attention to Mr. Holmes with the closing argument on behalf of Mr. Red.
See how she does here.
Donnie Red isn't perfect, maybe even unprofessional, but he's not guilty of assault. Donnie was at the Hampton because he cared for people. He cared for them deeply. You heard that directly from his mouth in his interview with Officer Johnson. Miss Wood was no exception. After all, she was Cowgirl Betty. Miss Wood, to no fault of her own, suffered from Alzheimer's. And because of this, on April 11th, 2023, she was kicking, biting, scratching, spitting, hitting Donnie. She even kicked him in the groin. Donnie never spit on Miss Wood, never slapped Miss Wood, or sprayed her in the face with a shower head. That was his statement today. It always has been. Donnie, both today and back in April of last year, said he never acted with the intention to discipline or with malice. Donnie wanted Miss Wood to be clean, safe, happy, and healthy. And because of that, she needed to be showered. Showering her was an act of care. It wasn't an act of ill will. And because of her Alzheimer's, Miss Wood couldn't understand that. But you can. During that shower, Miss Wood spit on Donnie several times. And in response, he blew air in her face. Miss Wood hit Donnie, and he swatted her arm. Miss Wood bit Donnie, and he held his hand up to stop her, not making any contact with her face. Miss Wood kicked Donnie in the groin, and his response was to swat her leg away. Miss Wood scratched him. She drew blood, and he trimmed her nails. That was his response. Donnie reacted to Miss Wood's conduct reasonably and proportionally. You heard Miss Wood could be difficult to care for. He knew that. The staff at the Hampton knew that. She could draw blood, and she did draw blood on Donnie when she clawed his arm on April 11, 2023. In contrast, Miss Wood walked away with no marks or injuries, even after a head-to-toe inspection by a nurse. The burden of proof is on the state. That means that Donnie doesn't have to prove that he's innocent. It means that the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he's not. The state has two things to prove to you. One, that Donnie, beyond a reasonable doubt, with unlawful force, intentionally touched or struck Miss Wood in a harmful or offensive way. And even if you think that's true, you cannot find Donnie guilty of assault unless you also find that, beyond a reasonable doubt, the force employed by Donnie was not reasonable in protecting or attempting to protect himself. You hear this beyond a reasonable doubt, and I say it a lot because it's important and it has meaning. It's the highest standard of proof required in the legal system. It means that the prosecution must convince you that there's no other reasonable explanation that can come from the evidence presented at trial, or lack thereof. At the beginning of trial, just yesterday, I asked you to write down your questions. And then at the end of the trial, ask yourself if you have satisfying answers to those questions. One question you might have: why was Ms. Duplessis able to confidently answer the questions of the prosecutor, but could not remember anything when Mr. Kale asked her questions? Mr. Kale showed Ms. Duplessis a statement that she wrote immediately after the incident. She agreed that the statement was accurate, detailed, thorough, truthful. She testified that in her written statement, she said Ms. Wood was hitting, kicking, spitting at, and biting Donnie before he did anything. She testified that in her written statement, Betty was kicking Donnie, and in response, he slapped her leg. Another question you might have: why were there no injuries on Miss Wood if Mr. Red's interaction with her was unreasonable? Miss Wood is an older woman, and you heard that the skin of older people is more likely to show marks. If Donnie was using unreasonable force against Miss Wood, surely there would have been evidence of that. The state might suggest that maybe it was too soon to see any injuries on Miss Wood. Ms. Reardon said it was possible. Possible is not beyond a reasonable doubt. One last question you might have, among others, this is not an exhaustive list: was Miss Wood just supposed to sit in her urine and feces? Donnie was genuinely trying his best on April 11th, 2023. He wanted Miss Wood to be clean. He wanted Miss Wood to be safe. Because the prosecution has the burden of proof, this is the last time you're going to hear from me. But I want you to keep in mind the specific question being asked of you today. You're not being asked if Donnie followed CNA protocols, and you're not being asked whether or not Donnie could have managed the situation or Miss Wood better. You're being asked if a crime was committed. Donnie acted reasonably and proportionally to Miss Wood's kicking, biting, scratching, spitting, hitting, and kick to the groin. And because of that, you must find him not guilty. Thank you.
Her presentation style definitely gets points.
And members of the jury, now for the last time, please give your attention to Ms. Kitmont.
And she's not ready. Take everyone's notes and go make a closing statement.
Which is it? Did he not hit her, or was it self-defense? Members of the jury, you heard in the jury instructions that you are the sole judges of credibility of each witness. You heard that in considering a witness's testimony, you can consider any personal interest the witness might have in the outcome or the issues. Of course, Mr. Red said he only blew and didn't spit in Betty's face. Of course, Mr. Red said he only tapped and didn't slap Betty's leg. Of course, he said he only tapped and didn't slap Betty's arm. Each of these explanations sounds a lot better than what Ms. Duplessis told you she saw happen with her own eyes on her very first day of work at the Hampton, only a few short hours after she met Mr. Red. Ms. Duplessis told you she saw with her own eyes Mr. Red spit in Betty's face. She said she saw the spit leave his mouth and she saw it hit Betty's face. Ms. Duplessis told you she saw with her own eyes Mr. Red spray water into Betty's face. She told you she saw with her own eyes Mr. Red slap Betty's arm and slap Betty's leg. At the beginning of this trial, defense counsel told you to pay attention to what the city doesn't show you. But ladies and gentlemen, that is not your job here today. Your job is to determine whether an assault happened on April 11th, 2023 in Tumwater, Washington, and whether it was perpetrated by the defendant, Mr. Red. At the beginning of this trial, defense counsel told you that you would hear evidence that Mr. Red was just doing the best he could. I submit to you, members of the jury, that the actions Ms. Duplessis described are not something someone doing their best would do. I submit to you, members of the jury, that Mr. Red did assault Betty in the 4th degree. Thank you.
All right.
All right, members of the jury, you may now go to the jury deliberation room, select a presiding juror, and deliberate on your verdict.
So we have a counter going. They are going to probably shut off this feed. That's what they normally do. Let's wait and see. The judge wandered off.
You did good, Doc. You're a fighter. You're a fighter.
Oh, I didn't do it.
Yeah, you did.
No, what I'm saying is I didn't do it.
All right.
You did
I'll get our numbers and go to the clerk.
He says,
yeah,
you did good, Donnie.
I definitely didn't do it.
And he says, well, I didn't do it. And
Yeah.
she's like,
Personal
yeah, you
numbers?
did.
Or whatever way you wish to be contacted by the clerk.
Oh man.
And then
Oh.
get ours down. We'll probably stay up here.
The defense attorney.
Walking through the snow again.
Last minute. Yeah, you did.
Everybody can use your bathrooms and water.
I don't have coffee yet. We don't have to drink here.
There's one in the jury room. I guess Ashley could grab you one.
2 days before it was employment, this is not. I didn't get that because I didn't hear.
Angela, this court notifies you by just going live with no warning and just announcing the verdict. It is the least lead time ever. Mike's just still alive.
Yeah, I have
They need our phone number so that way if they have a question or if they get a verdict, we can be called in. So what I would do is,
Can you write my number
I don't
on
know
there?
how long it'll take them to deliberate. But I would probably stick around until the end of the day around here. Stay close. Okay. Come on, you gotta get a sigh of relief. You made it through.
Well, I knew we'd make it through.
We're gonna head over to Big Lots.
Just took 8 times to get.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we got to do it today because I know that there was talk of maybe having to do it another day.
I tell you, you know what my reaction to that was?
Yeah. And I know
9
you.
and 10. That's all I could think. This is how many times I've been recording.
Yeah.
Okay. And they've killed the feed for us. So now we get to wait. Let's see. Let's go here. I need to change my setting. Put that there. Now we can go back. Okay, now we have our timer. All right. No, we're not going to listen to Judge Darrow as much as we want to. All right, let's see. I soundbite. I didn't do it. Yeah, you did. Conversation between defense client and defense attorney. It's the best. Thurston County never disappoints. She meant he did well testifying. He was talking about the crime itself. It's not like he said, yeah, it would have been worse if she said, well, did a good job, but, you know, you didn't do this. And he's like, yeah, I did. that would have been much worse had it gone the other way. Judy, thank you very much, and thanks for watching the other ones as well. They're all talented kids out there on that contest. Brandy's going to be streaming on this weekend. Wonderful. She did last weekend as well, I think. I know she's past the halfway point in her treatment, so we're hoping she gets feeling better here. Mary, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Shiraz had to find my stepfather, a World War II veteran, a dementia care facility back in 2008. He got kicked out of one after becoming combative. I darn near earned an MS in social work that year. Oh man, that's tough. That is really hard to. I've heard that if they're combative, it's very hard to find facilities that will accept the care challenge. Been speed trialing on the weekends on Brandy's channel. It's good use of your time for sure. Man, Orange County Sheriff's Office has gone and they've tried to. This is in California, by the way. Orange County in California. They've tried to be very open and transparent, and so they have this policy where they now release body camera footage within like a certain number of hours after an incident. And they like full on just dump it out on Twitter, and it's nothing. No, I mean, it's just like pow, 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 boom. You know, it's like, whoa. I'm used to seeing it a little fuzzed out, you know, a little grayed out, or, you know, some retractions here and there. That's one we can't show. So if you want to follow Orange County on Twitter, if you want to see it, Orange County Sheriff's Office. Let's see, they have Orange Coast Sheriff, at Orange Coast Sheriff is their handle on Twitter or on X. And they are, let's see, it was just, 4 hours ago they released a, is that Florida or is that California? Which one am I looking at? Make sure I'm on the right one. Is this? What state are you in, Orange County? Contact. There we go. Area code 407. That's California, right? Pretty sure that's 407 is California. Can we do a poll? Did you see the cop who started shooting because of an acorn? I love cops, so that was crazy. Oh my goodness, people for real. Yes, we talked about that, I think this morning, just a little bit. Not going to show that one either. In that situation, the officer had just placed a suspect in his car, in handcuffs, in the car, and was walking back to it walked away to do something, was walking back, an acorn falls off a tree. I think it hits his car and hit him in the chest or something. He thought it was a shot that had been fired. He does two terrible rolls. He rolls once, twice, draws his gun, shots fired, and he just unloads his clip on his own vehicle where the suspect is handcuffed inside. Does that, and sorry, I need to check and make sure Thurston didn't go live. Just 1 second. Yeah, they're not. Does that, his partner's like, what's going on? Oh, we're shooting the car? Okay, so she starts shooting the car too. Turns out it was just an acorn. It was just an acorn. The suspect inside, handcuffed inside the car, was not struck, not injured. Just scared to death, I'm sure. Crazy video. Welsh lady says, sending my love to all the families of loved dementia patients here and passed over. To all those male and female carriers out there, the good ones, in the job for the right reasons. Thank you. Welsh lady, thank you very much. Thank you. Mandy, do you want to do a poll? We did a poll already where we were 66-33 on the, as far as not guilty to guilty. So it's 2 to 1. 2/3 of us were on the not guilty side. Let's see.
Call from
Kristen.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Hey, I have 2% left on my battery on my phone.
What?
How fast can you talk?
I can talk real fast.
Kristen, what's up? What can we do for you?
Hey, I just wanted to say this is really tough because I don't know if you saw my messages, but I have a son who's very, very disabled, and his ribs were broken by a staff member at a group home, 8 ribs in various stages of healing, as well as he had a hip injury that needed surgery. And then they sent him to another group home, and he was already deemed bad behavior or whatever. And so the first time he acted out, the police they called the police came, put him in handcuffs, Scott, in handcuffs, and took him to a mental health facility.
This is terrible. I'm sorry if it looks like I'm not paying attention. I'm just trying to get a battery so I don't lose your call because I'm down to
No, you're cool. You're cool. So this is tough, man, because and then the kicker of it all is that nobody was charged because there was no cameras and they don't know who actually hurt my son.
Oh my goodness.
But he has a label on his file that he has legal issues.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't arrested. He was just taken to the hospital.
Oh, okay.
But they had police come in and handcuff him and take him to a mental health facility. And he's nonverbal. The kid is nonverbal. He's he's 33 now, but he was 30 at the time. And it was awful. I mean, it was so terrible. But at the same time, I can see. I worked in healthcare, and I also had patients who were very aggressive, and even to the point we had one guy. Oh my gosh, he would every time we'd get him to go get him up. He'd throw his blankets off and go, "You like what you see?" And we're like, "Oh my God," it was just awful. And they repeat themselves a lot, and it is hard. Yeah. But at the same time, it's a 50-50 really. Did she see what she thinks she saw, or
it sounded? We didn't see the depiction, but the way she described it was that the defendant was in front of him, and that the victim was in front of the defendant, and so it was like, think of three people in a line. So she was watching from behind the defendant.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm like, how did you see? I mean, she described the spit leaving his mouth and everything. Unless she was like in the shower on the other side of the defendant, I don't know how that happened. Just from the description, it didn't seem right. Like what she was describing didn't seem possible for me, and so I did struggle. I don't know. It didn't happen. And this is the problem. I hate that we're sitting here and somebody who can't defend themselves and should never be in a position to being harmed by somebody who's caring for them, possibly was. And so it's
correct.
At the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's frustrating.
Correct. And like with my son, I know he has bad behavior. That's why he's in the group home, because he was with me, and we live in the desert, and he kept eloping from the house. And trying at night and trying to go outside. And we live in the desert. There's rattlesnakes, there's javelina, there's scorpions, all these things. And so I put a slide lock on his door, and somebody reported me, and they were like, it's unreasonable confinement, and you can't take care of him. And I'm like, I've been taking care of this child for 30 years. Are you kidding me? Yeah. But we agreed that being by myself, it would be best for him to go into a group home with peers, and where he would have 24-hour awake staff. So that was the agreement. Yeah. But then he went there, and all this crap happened to him, and he can't tell us who did it. Yeah. He's got the mentality of they tested him, and he said 2 to 3 year old, and he's nonverbal. And I'm not kidding you. When they told me he had broken ribs, I was in shock. When they told me he had 8 broken ribs, and they were in various stages of healing, meaning that it happened over time, I was just beyond. And I stayed with him in the hospital for 34 days. That's how long it took him to get well.
That is terrible. I've never been in that sort of situation, but I've been responsible for other kids, and kids, especially teenagers, can be terrible. Try being a scoutmaster and taking kids somewhere dangerous, right? Take them camping, where nature is out to kill them, and there are creatures out there that want to eat them, and they are doing everything in their power to let all those things happen, because kids are just stupid. But being responsible for someone who can do something, he's not meaning to get in trouble, but he's a runner, right? He goes. I've woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning with one of the scouts sleepwalking towards the edge where a river is, a fast river in the dark, up in the mountains, and he's up just walking through, and he's just out. He's asleep. Just not. It's like, oh my goodness, anything can happen at any time. It's crazy. Soundbite. What was the soundbite? I don't know what I said. But.
Yeah. But I just wanted to say, this is tough, because I don't believe she saw what she thinks she saw. Yeah. To a certain extent. He may have been a little loud or whatever, aggressive, and that wasn't right if he did. But at the same time, if you don't see it with your own eyes, clearly, to make that allegation, that is going to follow him for the rest of his life. Because they have registries for people like that.
I wonder. And this comes to me as I hear this. I said, something doesn't sound right with this. It doesn't sound right with there being no marks of injuries. If he was frustrated, if he had lost control of his temper, and everything he did left no marks, that was it didn't sit right? And so I'm thinking, is it possible that this new employee, just did not like They just didn't get along from day one, these two employees. And she's like, well, I know what I can do. Is that reasonable to say I've got doubts that could have happened?
Right, exactly. And the other thing I wanted to tell you, RA, is that I think your son is extremely talented. I did listen. He's very, very talented.
Thank you.
And I want to know, do all of your children take piano?
No. My youngest son can just sit at the piano and learn how to play things. He's got like perfect pitch. He can sing. He nails a song. He knows it. He can sing along perfectly. He doesn't have to try. He just can sit down. He picked up a guitar and taught himself how to play a song. And like he can barely even hold the guitar. He's like gets his hand over it. No problem. My others, I have varying degrees of people playing the piano, but mostly it's that one son that's really just taken off with it.
That's really cool. Music is just like,
it's medicine.
It's food for the soul. It really is.
It's so healing. It
is.
I play the guitar, not very well, but I just love to play. It's like sometimes I can say things by playing the guitar that I can't put into words, right? I can just, this is how I'm feeling. I can play how I feel, but I can't say it. So.
Right.
Thank you.
Before I got sick, I had perfect pitch, like singing, and I competed all over the place. It was fantastic. It was such an amazing experience. I even sang at Disney.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool. But, so if your kids can get into music, it's so healing. It really is.
Yeah,
that's keep great. That up. You're doing a great job, Dad.
It's
Mrs. Really
it's the Mrs. that deserves all the credit on this one for sure. But thank you. Thank you very much. Great to talk to you as well.
Oh,
all right.
You too.
We'll
Bye.
Bye. All right. I'm trying to see if I've got to keep checking court to see if they come back because it could happen at any time. And not yet. Let's see. Oh, they've been out deliberating for 18 minutes. Why are they not back already? Andy Faye says, it's so therapeutic just listening to your conversation. We just like to talk. That's it. All right. Kathy, welcome back. Great to have you here. Love the troll in your profile picture. I have a friend that I knew back when I was thrift shopping and selling stuff online. And she found right before I did, because we both spotted it and she was closer and grabbed it. But she knew what to do. She grabbed a bag, and it's one of those large, clear, it's like garbage bag size bag of those troll dolls, all different sizes, all tons of them. Just, I don't know, 200, 300 troll dolls in there. I think she paid $15 for the bag of them. I think she went on a cruise with the money she made from selling those. Let's see. What's the burner number? I'd love to call WGWI. The burner number is, if you type !burner, it'll pop up in chat. Or I think our mods have to do that now. Maybe. It's 801-513-1160. I have to be careful to not give out my other number because then it gets really confusing. Here we go. Oh.
Call from
Mattis.
Mattis, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. It is almost 1 a.m., but I like staying up, especially if I have content like this.
Wonderful. I'm glad you're staying up. Hopefully you don't have anything really important first thing tomorrow morning, though.
I have something to do that I've been slacking off on, but I will definitely do it tomorrow because I've now promised it on stream. So I now have an obligation, and you will check in on me tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
What's in your mind? I wanted to give. This case is really a great example of the content you get when you follow these small cases. I think I can totally see both sides here, and I like the attorneys. It's not clear to me which defense attorney was the one that is new. Yeah. I think it could be the guy.
That's right. I thought it was the girl, but she did such a good job. I'm like, wow, she's good for her first case. But I agree. I think it could be the guy. He was riding second chair, and it even surprised the judge that he, took this defense case as a brand new lawyer. So I think you're right that it's the guy.
Yeah, but we'll have to wait and see what happens at the end, because they do announce it, I think. But if it is the two female attorneys, I think both did a pretty good job. Since you were on the topic of music, there's a poem that's been on my mind for the last couple of days, maybe a week or so, and I would love to see this like put to like instrumentals, and I think it would be something that you could do, because I think you're the better singer than I am, and you don't have the accent that will get people.
You give me way too
maybe
much
turned off.
credit. I can sing Happy Birthday.
Yeah,
That is it. That's the limit. What's the poem name?
But I think it would be great for the channel, actually. So let me just point you to the poem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's from Alice in Wonderland, and it's a parody of an at the time didactic poem. It's called Your Old Father William. And if you look at the Wikipedia article, the 5th and 6th, let's say, verse or paragraph are about it gives away the punchline, but it is about the topic of arguing the law. And I really like it. I think these two verses, if you put it to a tune, you could interpret it a number of ways. And if you could sing that for us and maybe put it to song, put some sort of backup there, I think it's pretty great. So if you ever feel like doing the bard.
Wow. I'm just trying to feel the rhythm. That's I'm trying to feel the rhythm of the poem.
I mean, I can try to sing how I would do it. But
yes, please do. I thought I was on my own here, but no. Let me start the recording. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I can do it. Only several hundred people are watching. But here's my very amateurish rendition. You are old, said the youth, and your jaws are too weak for anything tougher than suet. Yet you finished the goose with the bones and the beak. Pray, how did you manage to do it? In my youth, said his father, I took to the law and argued each case with my wife. And the muscular strength which it gave to my jaw has lasted the rest of my life.
That was beautiful.
Something like that, just better.
No. That was beautiful. I've got that recording. We're going to go ahead and cue that up every time you call. We're just going to hit that button and it will play again. No, that was really good. And it's a funny little story too. I like it. I was doing this. I was looking for this button. You did. Thank you. You did fantastic. That is awesome. Thank you. I'll have to take that under advisement.
If anyone that can actually sing wants to do a recording of that and send it in, I think it would. There's definitely potential there. See, if I'm not good and I can make it sound decent, then
I'm wondering if there's a familiar tune that we all know that should be the underlying melody. Do that. I've got to think this through. I just need to look at the meter of the poem and see how it matches up with the tunes. Yeah,
there's definitely something. I think in my head I had drawn out the second verse more drawn out, like more grandiose. But with more practice, it's definitely something that can be more impressive. And also, I'm from Germany for the chat. I'm from southern Hessen, which is near Frankfurt.
And you sing and you debate and you love math. So it's wonderful. Thank you very much. Mathis, I really think you need to come over here and take the law exam because I think you'd pass first try. So schedule a vacation around the test period. I think you have to go to Virginia because they don't require you to go to like law school. You can just sign up and take the test.
Oh, that sounds great.
So do it. We'll go out to lunch to celebrate your success, your pending success with both your music album as well as your law career here in the United States.
Yeah, I'm going to finance kickstart this by releasing an album.
It'll be wonderful. I can't wait. Mathis, thank you very much. Get some sleep though. Get some sleep. And
I can sleep. I can sleep in tomorrow. I have some vacation around this time, so I can stay up and watch trials all night.
That's awesome. Well, we love talking to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the call.
Take care.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Call from
Babs.
Babs, this is Scott. How are you doing? Are you going to sing to us too, Babs?
Oh my gosh, this is my first time trying. I can't believe I got through.
It worked.
Is
that a yes on the singing?
No, if you heard me sing, then all else would go awry. Oh my gosh, I called to say that I used to teach. I taught kindergarten and first grade, and I had some troubled kids.
Okay.
And I learned early on a trick for those kids that I truly wanted to strangle because they tried my last patient, my last nerve. They would just set me, and I always had to find one thing that was cute about them, and then I would love them. And I had this one kid, his name was Richard, and I tried my hardest to find something cute about him, and I just couldn't. And one day I had a hat in the classroom, and I put it on his head, and he was suddenly adorable. And from that point on, Richard was my friend. But my other trick I learned was to pretend that their parents were watching me, to pretend that they were looking through the window. And I would never do anything to any of those kids that their parents wouldn't approve of. And that's what I never lost it, even though I swear there were many, 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 many times I could have. I just never did. And that was my trick.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's wonderful. I think being able to look at somebody and seeing them from a different perspective, and I'm not sure if you've ever done this in other settings, but or chat in general, but sometimes we see someone, we have this image of what they are, right? It's sort of, right. This is what we think of them. This is what we think they are. But getting to know them until you see them differently, like physically see them differently, I think is an exercise that's well worth it. Being able to look through their eyes a little bit. But that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that experience. Sounds like you were a wonderful school teacher as well. That's awesome.
I loved it. Kids are my oxygen. I so wish I could still teach, but I have 3 grandchildren that keep me alive. So
wonderful. And you probably spoiled them rotten.
And then God still gives me other kids to bless me. So I still do tutoring and stuff like that. But
great.
that was my gift. So
that's great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just passed my 7th anniversary without my husband, and I spent the day watching you and feeling on that day and thinking about how blessed I was after 46 years of having love like that. And it wasn't a horrible day. So thank you.
Well, thanks for spending that with us, and thanks for sharing that. Our hearts go out to you.
I can't believe I got through it.
It's first try. Most people don't, honestly. So, thank you.
So bye.
All right.
Scott.
We'll see you.
Bye.
All right. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Ivan asking about this question here. If I take a strike, how long can I play copyright music before stream is banned? I have the best karaoke song ever. Let me tell you, as soon as the content match system detects the match, whichever outcome the copyright holder has pre-selected takes effect. So if it's a strike, it happens right then, and the stream is down, and you're also unable to stream for, I think, at least 7 to 10 days. It'll lock you, boom, immediately. If it is just a copyright claim is different than a copyright strike. I get claims all the time. My son got a claim on his video because someone else wrote that song. So someone else holds the copyright to the song he played on the piano, and he played it well enough that YouTube the computer engine says that sounds like someone else's song, and you can't play their music on your channel. Well, that copyright holder who wrote the song says, I will let you play the music on your channel. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But I get any ad revenue from it. Not me, but they get any ad revenue from it. And that can happen instantly as well. So as soon as the match, as soon as YouTube detects a match, which it will detect before it even goes live, it takes effect. So if you're doing a live stream and do it, it's almost instantaneous. Remember when Meghan Trainor hit me with a copyright claim in court because Maya was dancing? You guys remember that? It was terrible. Ayden's going to sing it on my channel now, apparently.
Johnny Cash.
This is not Johnny Cash. And if you play music, so help me, you're banned.
I would never do it ever. But so you're telling me I just need qualification because, like, I just thought, like, I could, like, play, like, a cool intro and like, just take the strike, but they will strike it down immediately? That's what you're telling me?
If it depends. Now, here's what you want to do. If you have a song that you want to try this on, this is what I'd suggest.
Oh, yeah.
Have a burner channel.
Yeah.
If you have a burner YouTube channel where you can test it on, where you can put the song up, and you can see the effect.
Real
on that
men,
I'm
men
just telling
don't use burners.
because
okay?
you
That's
you
the law.
don't. This is not a 3 strikes you're out. It's okay. I'll get another inning. No, it's 3 strikes and you're out. You're out. And YouTube
I
says.
understand, but do you know how many home runs Hank Aaron hit with 2 strikes? Okay. Do you know how many home runs Pete Rose, Matt,
Do you know?
to right field?
Do you know how many times he's striked out? I'm just saying.
Not as many times as you gambled.
It's they'll hit you really quick. So
if I come in and say, "Hold along the lonesome highway east of Omaha,"
I turned you down.
Why?
I turned you down.
You didn't even get to hear my Bob Seger?
I did.
I
prefer the Metallica's version of that one.
Hey, you know what's funny? My 65-year-old, born in Rostov, Russia, believes the same thing. Like, she loves Metallica more than the actual Bob Seger version.
Because they're like, sometimes you might hear him talk. Other times, yeah.
Now you're doing it.
They got this like,
You just did it worse than me.
it's got an edge to it when Metallica sings it. Bob Seger's like, it's too smooth. I like it needs to have that whiskey in the jar feel.
Do you know Whiskey in the Jarro?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you realize that song is about 1,000 years old? Do you realize that's an old Irish folk song?
But it sure sounds good with a lead guitar and a bass and some serious drums.
The fact that anybody makes money off that song is just a racket to... Well,
see, now here's the thing. You might think, oh, this is an old song. It's the fair use. I can use it. But no, the rendition is copyrighted. The performance has a copyright.
Those lyrics were written by potato eaters who were making vodka in their spare time, okay? That's who that song was written by. They aren't getting any credit. They aren't getting any royalties. Let's just be real. How many times did you mute me?
Just the one. Just the one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
love you guys.
Awesome. See you tonight. I'll see you.
Yeah, thanks for the advice.
Yep. Bye.
Yep, bye.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't play around. Anyway, why are we talking about this? We're supposed to be watching the court, and you guys got me distracted here. Let's see. Still no verdict yet. I think it's going to be an hour, a 1 hour verdict. I'm not sure if anybody's still with us either. Oh, we still have a few people here. Welcome. What are you guys doing up so late? All right, Bob Seger's voice isn't smooth. It doesn't have the edge. Okay, let's see. Was it Johnny Cash? One of the last songs he sang, he recorded when he was singing he was singing the Kurt Cobain song, I think. Can't remember that one. That has an edge. That's just a raw song. Can't remember. Anyway. All right. Kenneth White says it's going to be 44 minutes on the button. I like music. I really like music. Hurt. That was it. Man, that if that doesn't just like when Johnny Cash sings "Hurt," he is like living the words. He's telling his life story there. Amazing. Crystal DeSaro says, I went to a Metallica concert not long ago. Best concert ever. My friends went to a Metallica concert and said they were so in an alternate world based on, on chemicals they had consumed that they could not play any of the songs. It was terrible. Disturbed, Sound of Silence. Oh, man. They do a good job. Probably better than the original, I would say, on that one. Right. I love that you guys have all these wild taste in music. Okay, let's see who's on the phone.
Call from
Sue Magic.
Sue Magic, how are you doing?
Oh my God, I really did get through.
It works. The phone. I tell you, I give out my real phone number. I really do, and I answer
it. Hello. I'm a nurse, and I've worked in critical care, brain injury, neurosurgery, neurology, ICU for 38 years. Mm-hmm. And I've been hit, bit, kicked, you name it. Oh. We are taught, luckily, in our institution being a big hospital, self-defense. We're taught how to de-escalate. We are also taught that legally, if we are in imminent danger and cannot remove ourselves, we can self-defend.
Yeah.
However, you cannot hit somebody. Somebody with dementia is not able to communicate to someone when this is happening. The fact that maybe it's not a fact, maybe he did not do this, but if he did this with somebody witnessing, what does he do when somebody's not? That's my concern. I would have liked to see someone put on by the defense that gave some sort of a record of, how long this man has been doing this, or a job.
We probably could have got that from one of the managers, and the court ruled they couldn't bring her on because the manager was going to testify. I think there was another manager.
See, that would have been nice added information to have. That being said, he could have removed himself in the situation since he did have somebody else there who did offer, if she did offer to take over.
Yeah.
If he was getting upset. I have the wonderful use of medications, and I can restrain somebody. And of course, I have a security button that I can press and have a security team there in minutes.
Yeah.
So, I have a different situation. That being said, there just isn't an excuse, even just a slap, and it might not have left a mark.
Still not right.
Still not right. I did vote guilty. I don't know if they will. I don't know that if they proved it, being a kind of a one-on-one, he said and she said. But it's very concerning. It just is very concerning because they are so vulnerable in those places. And I worked maybe in a nursing home once in my training, to make money going through college, one of my 2 jobs. But
you're burning the candle
and I would
at both
never.
ends. Yep.
Oh God, I would never work in one again, because I did see that kind of just people that maybe should not be doing that job if they can't step back.
It requires a special person.
You can restrain a little old lady. You don't have to hit them.
Yeah.
Like, not that I'm saying restraints. I mean, we're taught holds. We're taught how to get out of holds safely. If it's getting to that point, you abort the mission. You say, okay, maybe this isn't the time to continue the shower. I actually once was, and they are very handsy, sometimes Alzheimer's patients, and I was wearing a uniform that was snapped all the way down. And as I was dressing this little lady, he was undressing me.
It was a contest.
And when I looked down, my uniform was now unsnapped.
Oh, man.
So they can be quick, but, I just never wore that uniform again.
You learned the lesson very quickly.
Oh, yes.
Sue Magic, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate that.
And thank you for all of your content. You're just fabulous.
Well, thank you. We have an amazing community here, of which you're a part.
I'm
It would not be the same
very glad
without
I found you.
So appreciate that.
Very glad Rob sent me to you.
Rob's a good guy. We really like him around here. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We're going to, I think here's what we're going to do. I'm going to check and see if they're back, and I don't think they are. Let's see. No. We've got a podcast that starts in 45 minutes. And here once again.
Oh, yay,
we're
that's
gonna,
right. That's on Thursdays
we're going to take a
now.
break. We're going to do the podcast, and I think it's actually I need to get the podcast. I think we need to take a break, and we might interrupt our podcast with a verdict watch. I don't know what else to do other than that.
I think they'll come back fast.
Yeah.
There's not that much.
So it's going to be, once again, our podcast is interrupted by true crime. So, all right. Thank you very much. I appreciate the call. Wonderful talking to you. We'll have to talk again.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye. All right. Is the Maya counter up? It's not up right now. It's running on my computer, but I don't have it up on the screen. I could show it if you need the Maya counter. We're trying to get it set up and working. We're almost there. This is our Maya counter. Okay, I'm trying to get everything set up here. Just one second.
Call from
Mandu Abjaman of American Solar.
to accept. Press.
Hey, this is RA. I didn't quite catch the name. Who am I speaking with?
Good evening, sir. This is Mandu Abjaman with American Solar. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am fine. Thank you for asking, sir. I'm just going to see if you would be interested in our free solar program in your area.
No.
If I may ask, are you a homeowner?
Yes.
Wonderful, sir. And if I may ask, is your electric bill on average over $100?
Way higher. I have computers all over my house that just run nonstop.
I see, sir. And about how much would your electric bill be on average monthly?
900.
Ni-
But I've got the
900, sir.
I've got an indoor farming operation as well.
I got to tell you, RA, it's really hard to do that accent. This is Austin. I'm sorry. I had to give it to you.
It was close. It was close.
I tried.
You knew the right line. You knew the right lines.
They call me constantly.
Yes. So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate all you do, Scott.
The trick
and you
is,
have yourself a wonderful evening.
You too. You've got to call on the other line. You have to know my secret number because you called on the burner phone, and they never call the burner phone.
Oh crap!
So, that was the giveaway.
It's
for me.
Ashley's husband. My apologies.
Yes. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So tell Ashley you did a good job. So, thanks a lot.
Okay, have a good evening.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. The other dead giveaway, the audio was just way too good. Way too good. That was not a call from overseas. It was a spoof of a spoof. Oh my goodness. All right, I was going to go into the solar, the indoor gardening efforts that I have going on in the basement and why it runs so much electricity for that. But I guess the accent ran out. What's our podcast number? Do we know? Asking for a friend. What We're on season 2, episode hydroponics. Yes, something like that. Okay. I'm looking. Let's see, season 2, episode 6. We're on 7. Okay. Episode 7. So we're on Verdict Watch Edition. It's going to start at 8 p.m., which is really soon. Need to make a quick thumbnail. Nope, that's the wrong one. Oh, sorry. What am I showing you that? Sorry. Look, there's the total number. I didn't realize I wasn't on that screen. My bad. We're back. They're back. They're back. Oh, they're back. Hang on. Thank you. Who says they're back? Are you serious? I'm not seeing it yet. Just one second. District 4. Who said they're back? Amanda Lynn? Are you just yanking my chain, or is my my computer just slow? District 1, no. District 4, I'm not seeing them back. Amanda, are you teasing me? You promise? Ashley, thank you. Your husband did a good job. His phone call, his connection was too good. That's the problem. I'm not seeing. Okay, I can see Court 3 is active. Court 1 is not. I've got nothing on Court 4. And we're in District Court 4. Are you seeing something else other than me? Is somebody... You got Pinky Promise. What? Amanda Lynn, are you looking at Thurston County Court 4? Okay, I'm gonna reset my whole device here to make sure I'm seeing it. Let's go to search. Thurston County District Court 4. There's a new video, only 2 minutes. They have a verdict. We're gonna get there. Hang on. Here we go. I show upcoming. This is upcoming. It's scheduled for 7/16. Thurston County District 4. Is this the one you're talking about? Right here?
I have a verdict form from each individual juror and signed by each individual juror, so that they're effectively polled, I guess. But it is a unanimous verdict, so I will.
We're going back at the beginning.
All right, so I have a verdict form from each individual juror and signed by each individual juror, so that they're effectively polled, I guess. But it is a unanimous verdict, so I will read the verdict. City of Tumwater versus Donnie Lee Red Jr., 23M149. We, the jury, find the defendant, Donnie Lee Red Jr., not guilty.
Not guilty.
Of the crime of assault in the 4th degree as charged in count 1. And as I said, there's 6 verdict forms, 1 for each juror, and they each appear to be properly dated and signed. All right, so the court will receive the verdict and enter judgment on it. Okay. So members of the jury, at this time, I'll discharge you from your jury service and relieve you from the restrictions that I put on you before about talking about the case. You can go home, talk to everybody about your experiences as a juror about this case. anything you'd like. All those restrictions are off.
You can
We
even
thank
call
you
the burner
very
phone
much
and
for your
talk to us
jury
about it.
service, especially with kind of the technical hiccups we had and the weather issues we had getting started today. We definitely very much appreciate it. What I would like to tell you before you go is that for the two attorneys who tried the case to you, Ms. Kittmacher and Ms. Capone, this was their very first trial in their legal careers.
Both ladies
And
were
a
brand
lot
new.
of times, lawyers would like to hear feedback from jurors that they tried cases to, particularly when they're newer. So optional, if you would like to, you can hang back in the jury room and give them any feedback you'd like to give them, and they'd appreciate hearing from you. So like I said, entirely optional. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. So with that, you are discharged and you're excused. Thank you.
Okay, that was it. So I didn't get to do the hype. I didn't get to do the hype. Can I start the sirens at least anyway? All right, we do have a verdict in the trial we've been watching today out of Thurston County, Washington. This has been a tough one. This is a trial where an employee of a care facility charged with assaulting one of the residents. The resident was an older lady who was suffering from Alzheimer's. The whole altercation occurred during a period where he was responsible for cleaning her in a shower setting. It was observed by a second employee, brand new on the job. Her testimony may not have won over the jurors, though, because they came back with a not guilty verdict. Not guilty from all the 6 jurors who deliberated, which makes it unanimous. So this goes away. Mr. Red, as he went to trial, he says, even as we heard in the hot mic moment, he said, "I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It wasn't me." This makes it all go away for him, but it's been almost a year of his life has been fighting these charges. I don't know what happened professionally as well. There might have been some implications there, but there we go. We will play the verdict music nonetheless. Thank you for the Sarah Boone reference. All right, not guilty. So that actually goes in favor with our poll. Our poll showed that about 2/3 of us felt that it was a not guilty. Definitely not proven, I think, would be the big issue, where that the state's main witness just did not seem that credible. That's all. All right, so now we can wrap up because we have half an hour before the podcast. This is normally when I jump on the podcast. Hang on, I've got to make a thumbnail here. And this is how quick I can make a thumbnail for the podcast. Ready? On your marks, get set, go. Okay, I'm done. Download, press file. There we go. Okay, podcast thumbnail is ready. We're going to go ahead and put that up in StreamYard. Pull the thumbnail. There it is. Apply. And create live stream. All right, we're ready to go on the StreamYard side, so if you want to be first in chat, all you have to do is be first. Get over there real quick. Be the first person to talk in chat. We will see you guys in half an hour. That means we have to wrap up right here with this music. It's like from one cool song to another. It's wonderful. Okay, I'm going to enter the studio and get ready over there and all that. Please remember, hit the like button as you enter the podcast. Thank you, Samantha. Appreciate that. We don't have a poll. We did have a poll. We don't have any more polls. It was just too quick. But we got a verdict, and it happened in just under 50 minutes. Just under 50. So that was really quick. There was a verdict. You can rewind to watch it, or I can spoil it here in 3, 2, 1. Not guilty. Not guilty. All right, tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live again in 30 minutes for the podcast. The Not Relevant podcast will be right here on this channel with your favorite Weather Watch and me, his co-host. We were going to kick it off in style tonight and have some fun, as we always do. Once again, this is going to be an interactive podcast, so bring your A game in chat. We will need that for sure. It's been fun hanging out with you today. Can't wait to relax and kick back just a little bit tonight for about an hour. And then after that, Ayden and Ricky going live for the late show. Late show is going to be happening. So we're going to refer you guys over to them. I don't think I can redirect to them yet, but we'll put a link in chat. And that's going to be after the podcast. So we'll see you at the podcast. You guys be good to each other. We'll see you tomorrow. Or see you tonight. Bye.